There's a device that I've been using called a Whoop.
Hello and welcome back to IGOW6. I'm the creator and host of IGOW, Dan Sugano, aka Skittles, and in this video we're going to be covering the second challenge of the IGOW6 season, the weBLEEDfpv building dives. Building dives are my favorite challenge every year because IGOW pilots have created the most epic and exciting videos in the past. And of course, in my opinion, building dives are one of the most fun and thrilling things you can do while flying FPV. So let's just jump straight into the requirements for IGOW6 challenge number 2, the weBLEEDfpv building dives. Requirement 1 is that you must find a tall obstacle like a building or something similar and then dive down in proximity to that obstacle for at least 10 meters. Requirement number 2 is at the end of your dive, you must pull out of that dive and fly away without hitting the ground. Requirement number 3 is kind of just restating a general rule that's for all of the IGOW challenges, and that is that you must include at least one dive example that was done between when this video premieres, June 18th, and the deadline on July 4th. You are allowed to also include additional dives that you have done previously to this challenge period, but your submission must include at least one dive that was done during this challenge period. As you can see, the basic idea for this challenge is to just find the tallest obstacle that you can reasonably dive in your area in a safe manner. This challenge is designed to be fun and entertaining, so as long as you make a good faith attempt to actually find a tall obstacle and dive down it, I'm not going to be super picky about the proximity that you are to the obstacle or the exact height that you've dived. As long as your effort seems legit, you'll probably get a pass. Furthermore, we have pilots from all around the world, and I can't know everyone's situation. So if you are in an area where flying inside the city or near buildings is not allowed, or you just do not feel comfortable diving in actual building in public, then do not worry. For this challenge, you're also going to be allowed to dive anything as long as you can dive down it for at least 10 meters or more. Now, of course, the taller the obstacle you find, the longer you're going to get to free fall during your dive, which makes it a lot easier and more fun in my opinion. So some objects to consider other than buildings would be antennas, wind turbines, flagpoles, water towers, and of course you're not limited to man-made objects. You can also use natural obstacles like a cliff face or a waterfall. And if you really can't find anything else, you are allowed to dive a tall tree. Okay, now I want to take a minute to talk about this challenge's title sponsor, weBLEEDfpv. I'm privileged to be a part of the awesome group of pilots known as Team weBLEED. And the winner of IGOW6 will be invited to become a Team weBLEED pilot as well. weBLEEDfpv is all about providing the best products for the FPV community with a focus on whoops and micros. Jeff Grabowski, aka Zotek, is the owner and operator of weBLEEDfpv and has led by example and shown how to truly help our community grow and prosper with his hard work and generosity. weBLEEDfpv has been a top sponsor of nearly every whoop event in the past 5 years or so, including every IGOW, every RaceGOW, and every major travel race. In appreciation for everything that weBLEED does, pilots regularly shout out Zotek and weBLEED by literally shouting, weBLEED! So, if you also appreciate weBLEED like I do, then be sure to include your best weBLEED shout out somewhere in your video so I can edit you into the next weBLEED montage like you will see at the end of this coming ad.
weBLEEDfpv. Shop now, FPV whoop drones, whoop gates and accessories, FPV swag. Join the adventure today only at weBLEEDfpv.com. weBLEED!
weBLEED! FPV!
weBLEED!
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 weBLEED! weBLEED!
Know that.
We bleed.
We bleed!
We bleed!
We bleed! We bleed!
We bleed!
Okay, I think I can't do that.
can you help me out, please?
We bleed.
We bleed.
We bleed.
We bleed.
Yeah, we bleed. We bleed FPV.
We bleed. We bleed.
We bleed. We bleed.
He bleed.
We bleed.
We bleed. We bleed. We bleed.
Bleed.
Guys, wait. I forgot to tell you guys something. I forgot to say it. Come here. It's a secret. We bleed!
We bleed. We bleed. We bleed.
Wow, that was awesome. As a community, we indeed bleed. All right, now let's get into the tutorial section for this video. This challenge is as simple and straightforward as any IGOW challenge will be. The goal is mainly for everyone to have fun and get the experience and thrill of diving down a tall building. This is one challenge where I would say that you can skip the simulator and just give it a try in real life. But be warned, while the challenge itself is very simple, there is still serious risk of losing a whoop if you are not careful. So I'm going to go over some of my suggestions to minimize your risk and maximize your fun in the weBLEED FPV building dives. Alright, so my number one suggestion to being safe is the building or obstacle selection. You're going to want to look for a building that has a nice flat face and goes all the way from the top of the building all the way to the ground without like any terraces or balconies or overhangs, anything where if you crash you could happen to get stuck on the building and not be able to recover your drone. Also, if you're diving something like an antenna or a water tower, often those things are surrounded by a fence with barbed wire. So if you happen to crash on the ground below that, you may not be able to get in there to recover your drone. There are plenty of buildings and other obstacles that you could carefully dive with nearly zero risk of a one-way whoop. So it's really going to be up to you to have to decide what risk level you're willing to accept and choose your obstacle accordingly. Now, the next thing I want to point out is that you are not required to fly over the top of the building or whatever obstacle that you're diving. And if you do want to fly up above the building, especially in a city, be very careful because the wind shifts up there and your whoop can quickly get blown either above the roof or past on another building. And if you lose line of sight, like from yourself directly to the drone, your video is going to cut out pretty quickly with one of those huge buildings between you and the drone, and you might not be able to find your way back. And finally, I want to strongly suggest that if you are going to fly in public, you have to, 1, be respectful and professional, and 2, always be ready to leave. Now, I know there's pilots from all around the world, so I cannot speak to the situation everywhere. But in my experience, if you're flying a whoop in public and you don't make a big scene or mess with anyone around you, then most of the people are not going to care or probably even notice that you're flying. Over 90% of the interactions I have in public are positive, and they're just people wanting to learn about the drones. However, if you do ever encounter someone that is not happy with what you're doing, then I would just suggest that you politely tell them that you're going to be leaving. This is part of why you want to be able to easily leave. When I fly, especially when I'm alone, I always have my bag all packed up and on my back, so if something happens, I can quickly and easily just walk away. When you're alone, you definitely want to do this as well to avoid any of your stuff being taken while you're in the goggles. Alright, so now I'm going to go out into my local area and we'll find something interesting to dive. Then we'll come back here and craft a bare minimum submission just to get the pass with that clip alone. But then we'll also put together a much higher effort submission that will include some of my dives from a past trip to New York City, where I got to dive some of the tallest and most iconic buildings in the world. All right, IGOWers, so I'm gonna go out and do some building dives for this IGOW6 challenge. Now, we have building dives every year in IGOW, and in the past, I've gone into some of the major cities like Bellevue and Seattle surrounding my area and dove some of the really tall buildings, because obviously that's one of the most fun things to do. The taller the thing you have to dive, the longer you get to go down, the more fun. But most people don't have access to such big cities and huge buildings, so I figured I would try to find something more local in my local town that pretty much everyone has in their area probably, and that is a water tower. Here in Kent we have a cool one. It's kind of like painted with like trees and stuff, so it looks pretty cool. I think it's like 16 stories tall, so pretty tall. All right, so I'm here at the Kent Water Tower, as you can see, just before sunset and golden hour to get some really nice shots here. Now this tower may not be ideal based on the suggestions I gave before. Obviously you can see it's surrounded by a fence. Now it does go all the way to the ground, so the drone might not get stuck, but if I did crash down there, I wouldn't be able to get in there and actually recover the drone very simply. So not super ideal, but it is plenty tall, so I should be able to dive down way over 10 meters and pull out plenty before the fence, so not too worried about that. I should have a nice shot of the sunset and the mountain when I get up there, so it should look pretty cool. All right, quick rip here at the water tower, and we've got our building dive done. Now, as I explained before, you just have to have at least one building dive that satisfies the requirements that you've done during the challenge period. And if you want to include any other videos of you diving buildings that you've done previously, you can include that as long as you have one that you performed during this challenge period. So I got that done here, and when I go back, I'm going to put together a bare minimum example submission where I just dive this tower real quick once. Hey everyone, Editing Skittles here, and unfortunately when I got back to the house, the analog clip that I took was corrupted and it will not open on my computer. However, it does still play in the goggles, and if that ever happens to you and you have no other option, something you can do that's pretty easy is just point your camera into the goggle screen and play it, and then that'll work. And for bare minimum, why not? So just gonna arrange our camera here so you can see the screen and it play. It's a little bright, but it'll work. Alright, going up and diving down. Success. And then I'm going to put together a higher effort submission where I include my dive from this tower today, but then also some dives from New York when I was out there a couple months ago and got some really awesome dives. Of course, New York has some of the tallest buildings in the world, so a lot cooler obstacles to dive out there.
Dopamine. Dopamine. dopamine now. Can you feel it now? Check it.
All right, IGOWers, get out there and find some interesting buildings and obstacles to dive, because I'm super excited to watch all of the awesome submissions this year. Good luck and happy whooping. We bleed. We bleed. We bleed. We bleed.